Euphoria. That is what we're going to talk about and explore together right now. Are you interested? Sounds good to me. We're going to dive into the importance of the experience of euphoria in our human lives. And we're going to look specifically at what fragrances, in terms of the essential oils, tend to engender euphoria, and why this really is important. And lastly, stay with me all the way to the end, because I'm going to share with you a really beautiful blend that I've made that induces euphoria and a really beautiful, blissful kind of presence, which is such deep and profound medicine presence. Okay, so let's dive in first with with thinking about and defining what euphoria is. And I was just recently visiting my family in Texas, and I asked my brother and his wife and the kids what they thought euphoria was. And it was so fun to hear the definitions from the kids, from my brother, from his wife, all with diverse backgrounds and desires and preferences. And what I want to name first the things that everyone had in common with it. And then we'll talk a little bit about the differences and pull through what I feel is really essential in relationship to essential oils. So everybody had in common that euphoria was something that, and or bliss was something that feels really good. You know, it feels good. It's lovely. You want it. It's nice. The ways that one could experience bliss or euphoria varied. You know, my little nephew said he could experience it when he was playing soccer and running, and my brother could express it in his own way, or my sister-in-law in her own way. And what I found really interesting is that the differences had to do with what that person actually needed in order to feel really deeply, fully relaxed and present at the same time. And this is the aspect of euphoria that's particularly, I would even say, medicinally powerful, is that the euphoric experience is one of feeling a little bit high, you know, feeling altered, sort of lifted or expanded out of your normal, you know, three-dimensional in this body with these thought forms self. So sort of released or expanded from that. And yet not out of body or scattered or ungrounded, like really actually very present. And part of the reason why that quality of presence can be there in the experience of euphoria is because we're not getting caught up in thought forms related to regrets from the past or fears of the future. We are completely present, and in being completely present, we are connected to the generosity of the universe. We only get the generosity of the universe. We only get to like receive it and engage with it when we're present. Did you know that? So when we are present, but sort of lifted out of ourselves, we're expanded in our experience in this body. And we're not caught up in the past or the future, and just fully here with nowhere to go, nothing to be. There's not an agenda, there's not a plan. We don't often stay there very long, right? We're forward-moving creatures. We've got plans. We've got to cook dinner. We got things going on. We got thoughts. We got things to worry about. So to be able to have 10 seconds, 30 seconds of the experience of euphoria, of bliss, from a physiological perspective, it's profoundly supportive and even healing for the nervous system. Because a lot of the strain and drain on our nervous system that is, by theory, unnecessary. It's not technically necessary for us to stay alive, to be in worry, 80% of the day. A lot of that tension that we feel from guilt or worry or shame or any of these number of emotions, those experiences, those state experiences of, say, feeling really guilty over something, when we can shift and move into euphoric presencing, all of a sudden we're relieved of that heaviness, of that density, of that oscillating between the unwanted and the relatively less unwanted. We're in a way free, expanded and free. And the experience of that might last 30 seconds, but it has this deep impact on the nervous system of relief and recalibration. And so if we can experience that multiple times in a day, especially when we're under more intense pressure and unproductive stress, then it can help to entrain our nervous system to something different. So we're not just in there all of our waking hours and potentially in our sleeping hours. We have a reprieve. Moment. Kind of inhaled my saliva. So it's really important what's coming up here. Is it going to cough again? Euphoria and bliss is both a necessary ingredient for an easeful, for the creation and the embodiment of easefulness for at least part of the time of this, of being a human. So it's an important ingredient for those. It's also an important alchemical phenomena that helps our nervous system and our body to entrain to something different than the stressful norm. And this is hugely important to our physical well-being, our mental well-being, our emotional well-being. And so much of what we are grabbing at when we go for addictive substances in addictive ways is that we are trying to create some euphoria, some bliss, some relief from the pressure of being ourselves. And certainly all those things, having some wine or taking some cannabis, these serve a beautiful function, actually, of inducing, for some people anyway, inducing euphoria and bliss, if that's how they experience it. And for those that don't experience it with those substances, or those substances, if they use them, it's a dangerous or a slippery slope for them, we have the oils. We absolutely have the oils. And what I love is that, I used to be a drinker until I fully realized that this pattern of alcoholism that I experienced in my life, that if I continued to act out of it, I would stop developing, I would stop growing at the level of the soul. And yet I really wanted and even needed something that I could use or work with to alter my experience so that I could transmute some of my own internal pain and challenge and trauma over time. So I used alcohol. It very much served a function in order to sort of be with myself as myself over the years. Now that I work with the oils and have been for many, many, many years, as you all know, the euphoric oils really, I said this before, but I feel that they saved my life. And I mean that, at the level of the soul, they saved my life, but also on a practical level, like if I didn't have something that allowed me to conjure and experience healthy euphoria and healthy bliss, like on demand, really, as I needed it, I'm not really sure what I would have done or where I would have ended up. I'm not really sure how I would have continued to process some of the stuff inside that needed to be processed for me to continue to develop. So this is the beauty of the euphoric oils. This is the importance of the euphoric oils. There's a lot of intensity in the world right now. There's, at any given moment, if we turn on media, there's so much that can feel assaulting and even violating and very painful to witness. And this isn't about pretending that there aren't things going on in the world that are going on, but it's also about taking care of ourselves first and foremost so that we can show up and be of service to others. And we all get to practice learning what our edge is for when we need to, quote unquote, escape. To me, when I want to escape or numb out, that's my cue that I need a euphoric. When I want to stuff my face and like anesthetize myself with something or mindlessly shop or something, that's always my cue that I need a euphoric oil. I need a bit of bliss. So the euphoric oils are a huge gift. I always carry a euphoric oil, like they're in my purse, my coat pockets, my car. And so now the question you might have is, okay, Tiffany, what you got me interested here. What are the euphoric oils? Tell me. So the first thing that I want to mention is that ultimately, whatever essential oil creates an experience of euphoria for you is a euphoric inducing oil for you, because different oils have different impacts on people. With that said, there's a category of essential oils that are by their very nature consistently euphoria producing, and that's the floral oils. So jasmine sambac, jasmine grandiflorum, jasmine sambac, rose, tuberose. What are some of the other florals? Ylang ylang, that's in the blend I'm going to share with you at the end. I feel like I'm missing some important ones here, but a lot of the florals are absolutes. They are extracted through an absolute process. They are extracted through the process of creating an absolute rather than steam distillation, because the petals are very, what's the word? They're very delicate and they don't have a high yield of oil, or they would get destroyed with the high heat. So anyway, now you get the picture. Make a list of the euphoric oils that you know of. Just make sure that it is actually a pure floral oil. They are some of the most adulterated oils because they're expensive, they're low yield. So for example, if you saw like gardenia essential oil, I've only ever come across one true gardenia, and it wasn't an essential oil, it was an absolute. And I think they actually did it as what's called an enfleurage, I think it's how you pronounce it, which is an extraction with fatty substance over time. So when you see things that don't normally produce an absolute or an essential oil that are floral, they're most likely synthesized. And the way that you can know this usually is it feels really sharp in your nose, or cloying on your skin, or you can't really get it out of the air. Those are signs that it's been synthesized or has adulterants added to it. So get yourself something pure. You'll feel the richness of the pure oils. And the second category of euphoria producing oils, it's actually not a category. I just want to name a few other oils which have been known to induce bliss or euphoria for a lot of people. And that's sandalwood, clary sage, cardamom. These are big ones that tend to induce euphoria for people. And I could tell you why with each one of those, but I think we'd get a bit on the long side with this video. So next I want to go into this blend that I've created and show you a couple of really powerful acupoints that you can place your euphoria producing oils on, and there are certainly some points that you get sort of more bang for your buck with euphoric oils. So I want to share those with you. Wow, that was very hard to get out of my mouth for some reason. Okay, so this blend is called Presence. I want to show you something so cool. Check this out. So this is this sweet kit that we have for Monara. Ooh, and it has my 5 oils that correspond to each of the elements. And this is called our Metamorphosis Kit. It's on monara.org. And it comes with this sweet little box, wooden box for you. And each one of these has to do with a different element, and it's beautiful and powerful for supporting the energies and the gifts of those elements. Maybe I'll do a series based on that. If you like that idea, post in the comments below. And also, by the way, if you like this content and you like this video, please do give it a thumbs up and share it with others, because the more that I get the subscribers up on my new channel, since my previous one was terminated, the more I think the way the algorithms work, the video ends up going up on more people's feeds. I think that's how it works. So show some love if you're enjoying this, and do share. Thank you. Now, Presence. This is like, to me, kind of the ultimate in euphoria producing. This, maybe the ultimate for me is Jasmine grandiflorum on pericardium 7, right on the center of the wrist. This point has to do with trust. I'll put 1 drop there and then hold my wrist together and just close my eyes and breathe. And I do that for about a minute or two and then take up some deep inhalations. And I am ensconced in my own bliss bubble for some time after that. This presence blend has ylang ylang, mandarin, key lime, pomarosa, rose, and helichrysum. There's one other little bit of a secret ingredient that I keep secret, so it's a proprietary blend. But when you take in the fragrance, you feel that such beautiful balance between floral. Ylang ylang can be kind of a sticky floral for a lot of people, but it doesn't feel overwhelming in this. So you feel the soft, enrapturing floral, but you feel the alertness and the clarification of the citrus. And I think for me, to feel like blissed out and kind of like stoned or out of my mind is not actually a blissful experience. Like I really like my mind and I want it to feel clear and uncluttered and unconfused. And so with this presence blend, I get that. Like I feel euphoric, I'm ensconced in that easefulness and that bliss, but I also feel very clear, very present and alert, not tiring kind of alert, like effortless alert. So you can put this presence blend over that same point that I put the jasmine, or right over your chest on point CV17, which is the 5-element CV17 is about an inch above the level of the nipples, right on the sternum. So for me, it would be right there. And it's just with a light touch that you hold this point. Primordial child loves the euphoric oils. Lastly, with a nice euphoric oil, and by the way, the presence blend is also diluted properly, so you can put it directly on the skin. You can also do the third eye if you want to sort of bliss out your mental body. Okay, do enjoy, and I'd love to hear any feedback you want to share here. From my heart to yours, I'm so glad to be together with you on this journey, and until next time.